This video is made possible by the EA Creator Network. Alright, so this is going to be my raw impressions of the new control mode that is being added in Apex Legends Season 12. If you want the very fast guide about how to actually play this mode, I have that video up. It's in the description down below that has all the details. I figured everyone probably wants to see more of the raw gameplay, but I did make sure to cut straight to the gameplay whenever, so if I get eliminated, I make sure to kind of cut to the action so I can talk about it. So real quick, you're already seeing in the menu here, it's very much like Winter Express. This was literally my first game on. Quite literally. I mean, I didn't really even know what I was doing. I was still trying to figure it out. I loaded out with a triple take and SMG just so I had some close range and long range, and plus I wanted to try out the alternator because it was now ground loot, and I hadn't gotten a chance to use it. So you already see how quick you are to get into the action. I segue over to the leaderboard. You can see quite a few people were here. I know that, I don't know if the Nice Wig was actually on the server or not. We know we had Candy Room Macro. We had quite a few people, and I think I had Drum Bum and Dre also on another squad. It was all random, but nonetheless we're able to really pop off. I missed the objective cap here initially just because I'm still trying to figure out the game. But if you're on the objective, that's really where you get most of your points. You can have like 15 kills, and you're going to see it later in the gameplay here, but still nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. You have to play the objective. So the Trident is really great for getting good rotation, sneaking up on the enemy. And you'll see here, my gosh, we played really aggressively. And the plus side is that even though your armor gets cracked, it heals on its own. And even if you're in combat, it's going to heal. So I already had a pretty good start here, even despite just rushing in. And the reason why I'm keeping this, because it really was my first round in, but also I level up my armor, my weaponry at the bottom right. You can see it starts off blue, but it levels up as you keep going through the tier rating system. So right now I'm 40 out of 400 to level up, but as you keep going through the tier weaponry subsystem, you also unlock like your ultimates and things of that nature. So still pretty interesting, pretty cool. Mad Maggie has great utility just to get around, and this is helpful for the squad, so whoever you're doing damage to spots out towards the enemy, not as long as everyone has anticipated. And of course, if you're looking for a Maggie guide, I have that also in the description down below. So her tactical, you can see there, really goes through the wall, and it's pretty interesting. Even though the wall is pretty thick, it does quite a bit through it. So it's a great way to kind of push through and make a really good play. The reason I'm also highlighting this gameplay is because we triple capped them. I didn't even get eliminated. I know I did it at the very, very tail end, and you'll see it, and then we won like 5 seconds after. It was so fast. It was pretty crazy how quick it was. So even here, as we're making our push and getting in, those little dots that you see from Mad Maggie's ultimate do stay on the ground for an extended period of time. I actually don't know how long they stay. I should have really timed, especially with the Maggie guide. It was a little difficult. We only had very limited time, so I tried to test as much as humanly possible, just so you are aware. Don't ever really play out in the open. Try to make sure you have cover. If you don't play cover, then you're going to get caught out. I could have used my tactical there. I was almost using it like a bangular smoke, but if I hit it in the wall, I guarantee I would have did a lot more damage there as well. You'll see the point system that is really adding up on the bottom there from every elimination and push. We're trying to push towards C at the moment to make a pretty big play. But our team is just, right now we're just trying to get across and get some angles and get some damage. The spawn time for opponents is even your squad is pretty fast. So it's really something to highlight and remember. So aggressive legends really are good for making the play. If you have defensive legends, probably best to put them on the objective to anchor down. And if you don't want to anchor down, perhaps you should play probably an offensive legend. Just really play your role, especially as we're all learning this game mode. I think it probably works better. You can probably play these legends offensively to try to capture a point quickly, but it's good just to be aware of what your role is, and especially with your loadout, and mirror it with your loadout. Because the loadouts, they change every hour, from my understanding, very much like Winter Express. So that's pretty important just to highlight. So like I was mentioning, you definitely get you'll notice here 100 rating. The rating system, getting objectives means so much for your whole team and upgrading your weaponry. It matters just so much. Here I'm a little lost, just trying to figure out like where people spawn. I haven't really quite figured out the spawn points. They're pretty good. They didn't seem like they pigeonholed enemies into one spot per se. So it's pretty solid. So it seems like the map was well designed from that standpoint. And what's interesting, even if you triple cap them, which is what you're seeing here. So if you're afraid of just pretty much getting locked out and getting upset because your base is just getting absolutely obliterated or your teammates leave, the game will end early. So that's a plus side. And you're about to see me get level up to gold here in just a second, just based on the point. So I need 60 more. I should get an elimination, and I should level up to gold. I'm pretty sure that's why I left the footage in here, but I'm almost positive. So I managed to hit that opponent there for 60 damage, and now we're rotating in. And I do get eliminated here. I gotta get away, and I try to strafe my way out as best as possible. So like I mentioned, you notice that the flesh heals are unlimited. The ammo count is also unlimited, but you do need to use your own flesh heals to heal up. I don't know why I popped that. Literally, I was still getting used to Mad Maggie, and so I didn't really understand how her abilities worked per se. I was kind of curious if it would like burn up in the air or something. That was not a smart tactical, but nonetheless, first game in, and there we go. We got gold, and I get eliminated like right here afterwards. But I had a pretty good fight. There was just so many people here, and I tried to run away and try to reposition, but I don't think that, unfortunately, was enough. But overall, our team has a really strong lockout, and I did get eliminated there, which is why I did a jump cut here, and then we ultimately won. That was it. So it's a really fun game mode, and we're going to see the next bit of footage here. I think it was my second game on. I passed on Mad Maggie to let others, because there's only so many times that somebody can play Mad Maggie, and so I wanted to switch it out and let others play. I think I switched it midway here because I believe the other person wanted to play Mad Maggie, so I switched off. You're probably hearing some of the gameplay in the background. Some of the footage I recorded audio, some of it I didn't. So the reason why I'm leaving this footage in, I wanted to showcase just how chaotic the game mode looks. So when you're seeing everybody run in, I think this was a better representation of the chaos. You see so many people running across. Look at that. It literally looks like Battlefield. So if you're a fan of Battlefield, it looks just like it. It's pretty crazy to see just how chaotic it gets and how fun it gets, specifically whenever you're getting into these crazy engagements. Horizon's a big counter. You see my tactical get flown up in the air, whether it's friendly or not. I decided to roll off with a Sentinel and Mastiff this round because the Mastiff does get a bonus boost with Mad Maggie. And because of the objective play, boom, you know, your armor equipment is getting upgraded. So going for a bit of an aggressive push or trying to get in, but it's, you know, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So just repositioning. But there's so much happening, and that tactical does bleed right through there. And you'll see the points and rating system, like just like any other game, whether it's Battlefield, just really, really works really well. I just recommend, if you have cover, to be able to reset your armor consistently, or if you're going to keep pushing, make aggro plays, aggro positioning best you can. So you see where I have cover here, and I'm able to get more of the advantage despite having a shotgun in that engagement. But the action it's really, really nonstop. It just doesn't seem like it slows down once you're in it. I think this map, and I'm going to showcase the other map in just a second. So I wanted to showcase my first impressions and showcase when I played a little bit of crypto here in just a second. And here's a good example of all the weapons when they're dropped on the ground. So even though Loba is not really useful, you would think, she can at least pick up all the weapons and the weapon crates of what has been dropped. So you don't have to necessarily go through the ringer of upgrading your weapons if you find them on the ground. So there's some use there. There's definitely some thought process and something to bring to the table. So as you level up your guns, that includes the hop-up. So you'll notice that the Havoc rifle here has the hop-up for the turbocharger, which is insane. It works so well here, and I believe I start using the wingman with it. But there's really never a dull moment, per se, which is why I specifically enjoy this game mode. So if you're looking just for chaos with your friends and to kind of vibe out and not... I mean, there's going to be sweats who sweat in this game mode. But if you want to just have a grand old time, this is where it's at. Of course, just be sure to land your tacticals better with when you're Mad Maggie. And you know what's the beauty with this mode is that while it's chaotic, you're clearly seeing that I'm in a really strong 1v1, and you can have your nice isolated fights as well. So that's a blast. I do believe I get eliminated here in just a moment, but there is a really nice spray that happens. So I'm still trying to hang near the objective because the objective is just on the other side, but just, you know, trying to play as a team, trying to do what you can, and then I do. This is where I get eliminated. And then there's going to be a jump cut here. And then boom. I load out Nexus Crypto, and the Stellar set, probably my favorite loadout that I've seen so far, is the Wingman and Havoc. So when we're talking about the drone and its use, and you probably saw it in the Crypto rework already, it was different footage, but this is new footage here, is that the drone does get destroyed relatively easy when people see it. That's always happened, even regardless of the buff that it has. But it's it really gets you into the engagement, so you constantly stay involved, and that's the beauty. And there's Mad Maggie. You see that offensive pressure, but how quickly you can still avoid it. It's still avoidable. I guarantee in the BR it's definitely going to be a lot more annoying to deal with, but on control it's not that bad comparatively. So you can still dish out a ton of damage, and my gosh, I don't really use the Havoc that much, but using it now, it definitely provides me a lot more confidence. And all of you guys watching who like improving, finding things to do to improve your aim, this game mode is going to be where it's at, without a shadow of a doubt. So I have the drone here. I'm going to recall it. I was just kind of messing with recalling and throwing it out, and I put it like a camera essentially up above. They do take it out, and I had my ultimate. I needed to use it there, but unfortunately I did not. I was still trying to get used to it. So when I say these were back to back and learning the game for the first time, it was quite literally trying to figure out and learn the game mode specifically. But like I said, if you've ever played Battlefield, if you've ever played any, arena respawn type FPS game, whether it's even Quake or anything, you'll notice that your positioning and where you hold are just so important to really succeeding and playing around your teammates. So while you want to go all by yourself, it's not really going to net you really strong results. And I should have not ultimated here because it didn't really... I was still just kind of messing with it to see what it did, because I was kind of curious if I was going to use it for the crypto guide. But you see the purple guns in the bottom left. You see we're playing pretty much center of the objective here. And you'll notice on the score right up above, it gives you even percentages, and it'll show you how many objectives are being held, what the score is looking like. And there are some games I'm unsure if are necessarily winnable once a team has gone too far ahead, but at least these games are relatively close. And I guarantee in live that sometimes the games, and I don't know if they're going to have heavy skill-based matchmaking, but I'm curious to see how one-sided or un-one-sided that this is. Because if a player leaves, then you really feel it. Like every body and person really matters in terms of making a play, making a difference. So you would think that Crypto wouldn't have as strong of a role here, but he really does actually, based on the scans and how quick he can throw it out, even if it's distracting them just for like quick information. Even if that drone gets eliminated, it really doesn't matter because it's just quick information. And that was a interesting Wraith port that came through. I think everyone was kind of feeling things out and seeing what worked and what didn't. Oh, they're trying to shoot a teammate. I got a little, even I got a little overwhelmed and confused at one point, but I think the more that we play this game mode, the more the chaos will start to make a lot more sense and become a lot better. So here's an example of some bad positioning, if you will. So I try to flank out on this side, but notice how I'm not with my teammates. I do get a scan, and yeah, I get an elimination, but I am over here by myself, and I don't really play the cover very well. I was definitely trying to ego a little too hard. Granted, I got 2 kills and eliminations, but I really should have been inside in the building. So while, yes, you're getting some eliminations, you see how the teams are all pushing over to the left. I ultimately end up just getting eliminated here whenever I should be on the point. So they're above me, they're down below, and I got eliminated. So I did a jump cut there. Here's some good shots of the wingman. Really, really enjoyed the wingman in this game mode. It dishes out so much damage. The Havoc and the wingman combo, in my opinion, probably has to be the best one that they released here. So the next gameplay that I have is for everyone who really enjoys Wattson. I have Wattson gameplay up. I think I got about 15 eliminations. I don't even remember what I got for this one in terms of number of eliminations, but as you can tell, we did quite well. And it's about to wrap up. We're at 98.8%. This round is almost over. And I'm going to pop my ultimate here for a lot of damage. Look at that. This would be really, really effective if there's a bunch of people on the objective throwing your drone near it and just popping your ultimate. Okay, so now what we're going to segue to is whenever I was using Wattson. And again, I was using both the wingman and the Havoc in this scenario. when we were playing, it was every hour that the loadouts changed, and we happened to be kind of midway through with it, but unfortunately there was not any other changes outside of that. So the interesting part about playing Wattson, especially in this game mode, is instantly, and I left this footage here purposely, is how effective is her ultimate. Like, what is the value that it brings? If you drop it down, and I even tested it real quick, I'm like, if I'm already going to regen my armor and have my ultimate, look how fast it is actually. That's pretty insane how fast it is. But what's the real use, to be honest? Like, I mean, I guess it's there. I guess the big thing is that you stop grenades, and I didn't even mention that, but you do have like a pre-designated number of grenades. They don't respawn with you. You only get one to kind of, or like a set number whenever you start out. The fences are great for boxing people in. I get eliminated here. This is 100%. I get eliminated. There's no way that I lived here. I got shot as I was trying to move around the corner, and then boom, done. All right, then I cut to the next bit of gameplay here. And I've seen some really crazy fences in this building specifically because this is an objective point right here. So caustic barrels, rampart walls, fences, even having a squad that is just mainly defensive is really interesting to kind of see. So if you want to play defensively, there's a benefit to it. And having, would be curious if everyone, because granted it's 3 squads and this is a horrible drop. I believe I get eliminated here. There's no way I survive this. No, I actually did. Wow, I don't know how I survived. And the armor swap in the ground. So that's important to highlight. That's why I left this footage in, was the armor swap and putting down fences and just pretty much trying to dodge out as many nades as humanly possible. Her passive does kick in still. For this mode, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's just not fast enough. And then, you know, the shield regen is there. Not really sure if the power of Wattson really resonates here with control, but it's still, I mean, I guess it did really well because considering I had, I think, close to the max or the most kills in this lobby, and there I go, I start actually fencing up. I need to be better playing in this game mode with fencing up. I think I was just playing a little bit too aggro, trying to get eliminations, and I think people who play this game mode should probably play the objective more because it's just what matters the most rather than running out and trying to get kills unless you're just there to kind of practice. And okay, so I want to make a jump cut because I do get the audio back here, so I'm sorry for the wonky little jump cut there. I did turn on the audio in game. I realized I didn't have it midway through, so I apologize for that, but we just kind of keep it rolling. And it looks like, was that Draynilla who I eliminated? What was Dre doing? I'm not really sure what it was doing. But what I should have done here with Wattson, and I recommend more Wattsons do this, is spiderweb the living heck out of the inside of this building. Don't keep it too simplistic. And I think I start to do it a little bit here, but I'm just not really thinking about it. So if I look back at my gameplay, that's what I would recommend, more Wattsons to spiderweb it up. Just watch out for those Mad Maggie tacticals because they really kind of blast through the fences pretty effectively. So just little tips that I can think of as we're kind of going through the gameplay, kind of seeing what worked and what didn't. I got absolutely obliterated there. And these headshots of the wingman, those were spicy. So some nice shots of the wingman there. Had a bloodhound trying to contest me and eliminated them. And again, like, the plus side is just that momentum that you build in this game mode. That feels really nice when you get that Evo regen. So then you can pretty much continue to fight and stay in it. You'll notice that that person had gold armor. The benefit of gold armor in this mode, I don't even think I covered that in the main guide, is, you saw the scoreboard for just a moment. There's 2 things I want to talk about. The gold armor is beneficial when you're using syringes, so there is a benefit towards it. So if you're lifeline, you have your ultimate, there's definitely an added value there. Because, you know, the med kit takes way too long, but at least the syringes can top you off. The scoreboard is a little wonky. It's not a bad thing. I'm sure they'll continue to clean up. I did get eliminated there. You'll see gold weapons as well. The gold weapons have an unlimited ammo. The care packages have limited amount of ammo. The scoreboard, what I was mentioning, is a little wonky whenever you're trying to overlay it with the map. Some good eliminations there. So I don't even know how many I have at this point. But you see how the rampart walls really balance well with the Wattson fences there, so it's really nice. Then we have this Valkyrie who's just absolutely insane trying to fly around. I feel like every legend has some use within this game mode. So if there's a legend you want to try, I would even say Mirage is useful, just because, you know, if there's 9v9 and then adding, just imagine 3 Mirages all ulting on top of each other, the chaos that just that just ensues. So at this point, I wide swing out here, and then I got eliminated, and I jump cut at that point to the next spawn in. So this round is going to be over soon, and you can keep in mind your base spawn. So that's another little tip I can provide to you. Even though, let's say you get back capped, you can also spawn on those airships to get you back to where you need to go. So you can't spawn anywhere else unless you spawn on an objective that's been captured, or you go back to home base, one of the two. So I apologize for the jump cut that I did there. Unfortunately, just kind of had a, what do you call it, frog in your throat. Nonetheless, we keep going. You see the objective captures are vital. Even if you have a massive advantage, just keep playing the objective to get as many score points as humanly possible, and it upgrades your tier rating system. So that was not a jump cut. That was actually, that was mentioning the little wonkiness with a little bit of the map. So it was just kind of good to highlight. In Control, one adjustment I would possibly make for Wattson would be to maybe have her generator regenerate the cracked armors a little faster instead. Maybe shorten the timer by half. That would be kind of interesting. But I think there would probably need to be a lot of adjustments for certain legends to become a little bit more viable within the game mode. Or we'll have to see which ones are strong in the game mode and which ones aren't. So we'll have to wait and see how those all pan out. Like I said, the wingman is just insane. I got Krabered right there. So I have 13 kills at this point. I know those are very quick. You know, when you're in the game and in the moment, it's very quick in terms of bringing it up. Another tip, you can also move while looking at the scoreboard and the map. So if you're holding W, at least on mouse and keyboard, you can still move forward. I'm not sure if that's intended or not. I think the other person is just the Fuse in the enemy team with 15 kills, so I almost had the most kills. But second, hey, I'll take it. But another thing you'll notice, I hadn't necessarily been on the objectives the whole time. I realized that a little bit midway through. The objectives are going to provide you a lot more bang for your buck in terms of points. Even though I had so many kills, it's like it doesn't even matter. I mean, it does matter, but objective and playing the objective is king. And I kept checking because I was like, wait, how does the scoring system work? And I break it down a little bit more than the quick guide. So this video is about to end. I want to thank all of you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and comment and subscribe. Let me know if you like this type of commentary style, you know, where we just kind of vibe, hang out, kind of talk about what we see. It's a little bit more laid back overall. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys all in the next video. Bye, everybody.